I found something disturbing while metal detecting by Sasha Butters. Part 1. Read by Flow Passing Games. You guys remember those cornfield mazes? They had your Halloween time. I was always so terrible at those. No surprise seeing as how my sense of direction is somewhere on par between MapQuest and Apple Maps. I get lost in those for hours. My friends, like any good friends, would always get out before me, stand on top of the stairs, overlooking the maze, and shout out wrong directions to me. To this day, I can't even go inside an IKEA without having a panic attack. As much as I hated being inside a maze, there was one thing I loved about them. My dad and I had a ritual for a long time, but we stopped having them in my town. Before they stopped having them in my town. The day after they would tear it down, we'd grab our metal detectors and go hunt for buried treasure in the now empty field. Our treasures usually consisted of bottle caps, pull tabs, and some loose change, and if we were lucky, some jewelry. It was all about the thrill of the hunt. One person even gave me $40 for finding their car keys. Our hobby stopped around the time they stopped hosting the mazes. They hadn't had one in 3 years. Out of curiosity, I asked my dad about it. He is on city council. He knows these things. At least he acts like he knows everything. He told me they stopped because there was a problem with teenagers using it as a place to drink and hook up after hours. I didn't question him about it, and it sure explains all the bottle caps we found over the years. I had the bright idea earlier today to go out and hit up the field for old time's sake. My metal detector was sitting in the garage looking so pitiful, so I dusted it off, threw in some fresh batteries, and drove down there. I got out of the car and looked around. The once bustling city attraction was now nothing more than a desolate abandoned field taken over by knee-high weeds. I was out there for maybe an hour before I got bored of digging up bottle caps. When I got to the center of the field, I turned to leave, and that's when my machine let out a long, loud signal instead of the usual short and sharp beeps of a coin. I was going to pass it up since it usually doesn't make that noise unless I found a soda can or something. I don't know what made me do it. I was tired, sweaty, and hungry, and I just wanted to go home. Yes, I still got on the ground on my hands and knees with gardening trowel in hand and dug. I got maybe an inch in ground before I felt my shoulder collide with something hard. I could see something colorful in the dirt. Found the soda can, I thought. I pressed my shovel into the earth one more time before out popped something I wasn't expecting. It was large, square, and pink. I picked it up and gave it a look over until I realized what I was staring at. Underneath all the dirt sat an older model cell phone. It'd be an original Samsung Galaxy or something. Excited about my unusual find, I stuffed it in my pocket along with the day's treasures, which consisted of 3 pennies, a Hot Wheels car, and something that looked like it fell out of a tractor. The phone itself was as dead as a squished possum on the side of the road, but I stuck my phone charger in it anyway. More than a little surprised to see it filling up with juice. I pulled the memory card out of the side of the slot and stuck it in my pocket. Then I left the phone on the counter and let it charge while I went about my business for the rest of the night. I honestly forgot all about it until my dad pointed it out and asked where it came from. I announced quite proudly, I might add, that I had found it metal detecting today. I could see his eyes light up in interest at the memory of our forgotten hobby. We even used to belong to a metal detecting club that would hold contests each month for the best finds. If we were still involved, the phone would surely have won the prize for the most unusual find. His behavior changed when I told him where I found it, though. His smile dropped in a disapproving stare that seeped in with disappointment, like I just told him I was going to be a teen mom. "You're not supposed to be over there," he said sharply. I blinked in surprise. "Why not? We used to go there all the time," I pointed out. "It's private property. I don't want you going over there," he said. I was quite shocked. I thought he'd be way more receptive to the fact that I found it in the old field. So what if there was a no trespassing sign? Since when had we ever listened to those? I pressed the issue, but he just got irritable, which made me irritable. He played the "you're a girl, it's not safe" card, and I played the "I'm 18 years old, I'm an adult." Pretty soon, we're having another shouting match. Adult? Ha! I'll let you say you're adult when you stop pissing the bed. Seething in anger from him going over the line, I grabbed the phone off the counter, but he stopped me and demanded I give it to him. Why? Because I said so, Rachel, he hollered at the top of his lungs. Once he threw the parent card, there was no use trying to negotiate. I handed it over, still knowing I had the memory card in my pocket. I stormed to my room without looking back and slammed the door shut before collapsing on my bed in tears. He had changed since Mom left 3 years ago. He had changed, and so had I. And neither of us had changed for the better. My dad became really overprotective of me since then, and I hate it. I want my independence. He treats me like a child, but at the same time, how can he not since I've been acting like one? Ever since Mom left without even saying goodbye, I've taken a few steps back. So says my therapist. I'm more emotional, immature, and well, as you read, I turned into a bedwetter. Great. I punched my pillow in frustration. How dare he play the bedwetter card? He knows how sensitive of a topic that is for me. I let out a moan of frustration and sorrow as I hit my pillow. I rolled my pillow tight against my chest as I continued to cry. Whenever I get in a fight with my dad, I like to pretend I'm a little again. I like to pretend that this pillow I'm holding between my arms isn't a pillow at all. I like to pretend it's my mom. I pretend she's holding me against her chest and stroking my head like she used to when I was little. Back when she still loved me. Why else would she have left us? If I concentrate really hard, I can almost smell that perfume she always wore. But that could be because I used to spray it on my pillow before I ran out and found out they discontinued it. It's all pretend though, picturing the perfect mother in my mind. My therapist says it's all part of the grieving process. Even if I was 18-year-olds don't spray furniture with perfume and pretend it's their mother that abandoned her family. 18-year-olds shouldn't still cry when it hurts. 18-year-olds shouldn't pretend that they are 7 and crave that person's embrace like an addict craves heroin. And 18-year-olds shouldn't wet the bed. One day, 3 years ago, she just never came home from her job teaching at the high school. We called her work and she never said anything to them. All her stuff was still here, her car still parked at the school. We called the police and at first they suspected foul play, but when they noticed another teacher was also missing, a male teacher, and then they found the email she had been having an affair, and the police put 2 and 2 together. She had run off with him to start a new family. I knew my parents had been having problems, but I didn't think she'd go that far. We've never heard from her since. I don't think I ever could recognize her voice anymore. I look up at the clock and let out a sigh. I really should get ready for bed, just in case I fall asleep. I reach under my bed and pull out the package of bedwetting pants. Too many times I've fallen asleep before I got changed, only to have to take the walk of shame to the laundry room with soiled clothes and sheets. I begin to tug my pants down, only to remember the memory card in my pocket. I pulled it out along with my phone and swapped them out. Maybe looking through someone else's life helped me forget about my own. After changing, I turned off my bedroom light and plopped onto my bed. Phone in hand, I searched the memory card. It was just a bunch of pictures of the high school, some pictures of food, some of random teenagers around campus. As soon as I suspected, it belonged to a student. Along with the pictures was a video file I clicked on, and it was taken on an older phone, so the picture quality wasn't that great, but you could still clearly hear the voices and make out the shapes of the faces in the poor lighting of the phone. I recognized where they were immediately when I saw the tall rows of corn in the background. The old maze. Well, duh, I thought. After a second, this is where I found the phone. I watched as the owner returned the phone around. 2 giggling high school girls, clearly a little buzzed by the sounds of their voices. My dad wasn't kidding. It really was a teenage drinking zone. I watched the video of the 2 blonde teenagers carry on as they staggered through the maze in the dark, giggling, shh, I hear something, one of them said, while she herself was anything but subtle. The video panned out to this doctor's apartment where two blurred outlines of people could be seen on the other side. Two other voices began to play through the phone. I thought they'd be more teenagers, but I was surprised to hear two adults talking. I strained to listen, but I couldn't make out the words. Then the figures began to embrace. "These two adults are making out," the owner of the phone whispered. "It's Mr. Chancellor. Who's he with?" "Oh, MG, it's Miss Brooke, my history teacher," the other girl squealed. I immediately felt my blood go cold. Miss Brooke is my mother. I continued to watch, my eyes and ears now intently glued to the screen. The figures on the other side came into focus better as the girl zoomed in. I could make out my mother's long brown hair. I turned my volume up to the max on my phone and listened as it began to talk again. Oh boy. "Run away with me, Stace," the man said as he brushed my mother's hair from her face. I felt my blood boil as I watched. This was the man who stole my mother from me. "We've talked about this before," my mother said. He let his hand fall limply to his side. "Why not? Why won't you leave?" "I've told you. It's not about him. I'm not leaving my daughter. I love you. I do. I can't just pack up to a different state and leave her behind." I could feel fresh tears sting my eyes and blur my vision. But wait, if she was so adamant about not leaving me behind, where was she? Had he convinced her to go? I paused the video and checked the date it had been taken. It was the day she had gone missing. I continued the video and watched them argue back and forth for a while. Things were getting heated and a growing sense of dread began to build beside me. The tension between them continued to escalate until a loud bang filled the air. I let out a choked sob as one of the figures slumped over to the ground. One of the girls screamed. They dropped the phone and I could hear them run away. The phone and next to the stealth corner remained propped up, pointing towards the scene, so I still had a good view, albeit much slower. I was shocked when I focused my eyes to the stalks to see not my mom's body, but that of her lover's. I thought for sure he had shot her. Was it the other way around? Had she shot him? I could hear my mother's screams. The sound brought all the hairs on my arm on end. "Richard!" she shouted as he dove to the ground and leaned over his body. "Richard, what happened?" She turned him over and saw the bullet wound her head snapped around, and that's when another figure appeared from the cornfield into the clearing, wearing a Halloween mask from the movie Scream. "What did you do?" she shouted. "Shut up. Get on the ground," a muffled voice through the mask said. She looked around and saw the phone recording a few feet from her through the stalks. She grabbed it and made a run for it. All I could see was the ground flying past as she ran through the cornfields. "I'm coming for you, Stace," the other voice said. She continued to run until she came to a dead end in the maze. She turned around only to hear him approaching. She held the phone up in front of her to record. I could see my father's terrified face looking at me. "I know you'll find this. I love you, Rachel. You've always been my baby girl." I watched as she got on the ground and began to dig a hole in the soft dirt with her hands before burying the phone. I thought I could never longer see. I could still hear the muffled conversation. "I know it's you, Tom. Take off the mask," she said. "Shut up." "Why, Tom?" "You're cheating on me." My eyes widened in terror as I heard another bang. I sat in my bed unmoving for another 30 minutes before the shock wore off and tears finally came. My mom, she knew I metal detected that field every year and left me this video as a warning. My mother never left me. She was stolen from me. Stolen from me by my father. Edits. Thank you everyone who has shown interest. I'm working on a follow-up piece to let you know what's been going on since I found out the truth. I thought this would be as simple as handing over the evidence to the police. Turns out, it's not.